Hello, welcome to the Make Sense with Your Money show, and I'm Cynthia Hurley. Y'all ready to talk about it? Okay, let's get into what we're gonna talk about. You know, it's tax season, and for many people, the refund check is about to hit their bank account. But before you spend all that money, or however much money you're about to get, let's talk about how to make the money work for you. Should you use it to pay off debt? Should you use it to save for emergencies? Or should you use it to invest for your future? Tonight, we are going to talk about the smartest ways that you can use your tax refund so that you're not spending it, but actually you're building wealth or you're making sense with your money. So stay tuned because I don't think you want to miss this conversation. This is something that you want to be a part of. All right, so we're going to get right into it. All right. This is tax season, and a lot of people are dealing with, or let's just say, they're thinking about the debt that they have that they want to pay off from Christmas. Because, a lot of people, they use them credit cards on Christmas and they want to eliminate most of this debt. It's just sitting there. And I know from working in this industry, this field for over 20 years, that when you have your interest, when your debts are high and you're just paying the minimum payment, the balances don't go nowhere. You know why? Because all of your money is going towards the interest. But anyway, so let's look at these three options. Should you spend your money? Because I know people, they doing a whole lot of things with their tax refunds. Should you save or should you pay off your debt? I know that most people, they attack the debt first. But even in attacking your debt, there's a strategy for everything. You need to have a strategy. You can't just be, you ever seen those targets on the wall? You want to be able to hit the target. Because if not, your money, even though it may seem like a lot, but poof, it could be gone in a minute. And the sad thing about it is you don't even know where the money went. So let's look at it. All right. So number one, and this is the number one question. I'm doing this show based off of the questions, and I know that people ask. Okay, what the number one concerns are of what people should do, what they should not do. Debt is number one on the list. Should you pay off high interest rate debt or should you pay off the debt with the biggest balance? Listen, here's the deal. Oh, Cynthia, I may not work. I'm not working with too much money to pay off the whole debt. What should I do? Oh, this debt got a high interest rate. Well, should I pay that off or should I pay? Listen, it's a great question. But here's the thing. Now don't look at the interest rate right now because the interest rates that you're concerned about, your credit score, your credit report don't see the interest rate. It sees the debt, the balances on the debt, and that's it. It don't see what the interest rate is. Now I know that's an important top subject that you want, but you just hear me out. What you want to do is you want to pay if your credit card is at the limit. You want to pay as much as you can. The rule is 30% of the balance, what all your credit card balances should be. I know a lot of you can't do that. So you want to make payments that is going to get it as far away from the limit as you possibly can. Example, what do you mean, Cynthia? If you have a credit card and it's a $2,000 limit and your balance is at $2,000, you're maxed out. So if you can get it down to 50%, if you can pay 500, that would be excellent. Okay? Because not only is that going to bring the monthly payment down on the card, but it is also going to help your boost your credit score. Okay? Because now you're bringing the balance down. Remember that when you are maxed out on your credit cards, it absolutely destroys your credit score. Just want you to know that. All right. So that's number one. You are going to attack the balance. We're not even looking at the high interest rate. Now, for those of you who have good credit, let me just say that. And because you still have people who have good credit that have balances and they're trying to figure out a way to make this thing work, you can consider a balance transfer if your credit scores are 680 and above. And this is why it's important for you to have good credit, y'all, because you have options. When you don't have good credit, your options just go out the window. But for those of you who have good credit, you may want to consider getting a zero balance transfer credit card so that all of your cards that had, now this is a strategic way, all of your cards that are maxed out or they have high interest rates, you can switch them to a zero balance transfer credit card with zero interest. And they usually give you a year to pay that card off. So that means that balance is sitting there for a whole year. Then you can begin to attack it because now you're paying $100 a month on this zero interest credit card. That $100, all of the $100 is going to the balance. Whereas now when you pay on your credit card, if you're paying $100, give you an example, $30 is going towards the interest if you're paying 25% interest rate, and only $70 is going to the balance. And that's why a lot of you don't feel that your balance is going nowhere because it's not. Because half of your payment, okay, and it may be the reverse, but half of your payment is going towards the interest and half is going towards the balance. I just got a phone call. I'm actually just talking to somebody about that not too long ago who was considering filing bankruptcy because she's like, I don't understand, Cynthia. My balances is not going down and it's like it's driving me crazy. And I don't know what to do. And she got all these things going on, all these components going on, these situations going on in her financial portfolio, and she's trying to decide what to do. And we were talking about, maybe bankruptcy being an answer for her. I'm not telling you that, but that's why it's good that you sit down with a professional because you want to do what makes sense. You don't want to listen to this one. You don't want to listen to that one because all your financial situations are not the same. Okay. Now back to the lesson at hand. So for those of you who can, doing a balance transfer, if your credit is 680 and above, is a great idea because you can put as much debt as you can, depending on what limit they give you onto that card. Okay. And for those of you who your credit is not at a 680, this is something that you should make a priority because you want to have options. You want to have options. And I'm going to talk about how you can get your credit at 680 before we end the show. Let's move on. Um, Now, we're talking about paying off the debt, but all of this is still tied into credit. You can, now, depending on what state your credit is in, you can call your credit card company too and, um, like ask them to lower your rate to pay off your balance. You can do that, but you don't want to do that depending on what state your credit is in. Okay. Um, you want to be able to make a wise decision. That's why I say I don't know what your situation is, but you can always we'll talk about that at the end. So number one is you tackle the first the debt. You pay off the balances to make sure you get it away from the limit as possible. You want to pay it low. Number two, you can do a balance transfer. Number three, a lot of people are dealing with collection accounts in their debt payoff strategy. So they like, I want to make sure I get rid of that collection. These people are calling me. I need to get rid of it. You definitely got to have a strategy for this, people. Should you pay off collection accounts? Because if you look on YouTube and social media, Instagram, Facebook, they tell you, nope, don't pay it. You don't have to pay it. These people are going to get y'all in trouble because you're dealing with overnight sensations. And I'm not saying all of them are, but everybody, they're not giving out sound advice, period. So let me tell you why you should or should not pay a collection. Number one, here's 5 reasons I'm going to give you why you should not pay off. Number one, it is when you pay off a collection account in full, it is not going to help your score. Matter of fact, it'll make your score go down when you pay a collection account off in full. It is going to make your score go down. All right. Once your credit is in collections, your credit score already takes a hit. So by paying it off in full, it is not going to help you. So know that. And it does not boost your score. Know that. What you should do instead, well, you should pay for, you should negotiate so you can pay for delete. That's what you want to do. I'll pay it, but even in that situation, you still got to be careful. But you want to pay for delete, for them to remove the account in exchange for payment. That's what that means. All right. So now let's move on to when paying collections make sense. So we just talked about whether or not you should pay it, but now does it make sense to pay it? Well, here's when it makes sense. If the collection that you're paying is under 2 years old, all right, that means that's a fresh collection. And I really can't get into it because of time. I'm limited. All right. But if the debt is recent, it's under 2 years old, that's still, let me go like this. Okay. But that's number one. Number two, it makes sense to pay it if they will delete the account from your credit report. Because sometimes they don't want to delete it. Well, I'm not paying you. All right. And it only makes sense when you have to do this because sometimes you're applying for a mortgage. I'm dealing with that right now. Sometimes people don't have time to, fight it and all of that kind of stuff because they're in the process of getting a mortgage. That's when paying collections makes sense. And even then, you still do it strategically. You definitely don't pay it in full. There's ways that you do it. All right. And there's so much more that goes with that first statement I made. The debt is recent, under 2 years old. That's when paying it makes sense. But that all depends too. That gets into what they have on file for you. So I'm telling you this, but you want to get more information before you even think about paying a collection account. Some of them you do have to pay though. And like I said, it depends on if it's under 2 years old, maybe like a year old. It all depends, but that's a one-on-one. Number two, when does it make sense not to pay it in full? Well, if the debt is like 5 years old, don't make sense to pay it. Tell them to go kick rocks. All right. Like I said, it's not going to improve your score. And don't pay it if they're not willing to give you an agreement. Don't pay it. If they're not willing to settle, they are going to be willing to settle though. That's what they do. But how much are they selling for? The older the debt, the higher the settlement. So if you got a debt that's like 4 or 5 years old, then they should be giving you like an 80% settlement, 90%, the 75, 80%. But make sure you get it in writing before you send a dime. I actually was working with somebody and they was like, no, know it all. Oh, I can do it. They done watched all the YouTube videos and all of that. And when people call me and they do that, that's fine. I'm not saying I want you to learn, but you must get sound advice. So what he did was, he went and negotiated and did all of that, but here's the mistake he made. He did negotiate a settlement with them, but he did not get it in writing. So guess what? They never took it off his credit report. And he paid them $2,000 on, I think the debt was maybe like $5,000. He was supposed to get it in writing that it was a 50% settlement. And guess what happened? They didn't honor it because they didn't give it to him in writing. So he just screwed himself all up. So you have to make sure you just make sure you know what you're doing. All right. You make sure you know what you're doing. And just remember that collection agencies, they buy these debts for pennies on the dollar. All right. Remember that. So you want to stick to your guns when you are negotiating. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. It's best to negotiate at the end of the month because they're trying to make a quota. So that's when you can really get them, you know, to really work with you. Okay. Now, there is a time limit for these collection agencies to remain on your credit report that you should know. All right. It's 7 years from the date of the last payment. 7 years from the date of the last payment. After that, it's supposed to be deleted from the credit report. So you want to make sure that you look at all of that before you begin to, work with these collection agencies because they're dirty. When I mean that, they're not honest. Not all of them are. They're not honest. Okay. All right. So you want to make sure you get a copy of your credit report so you can begin working on all that strategically. Now, since I know a lot of people are attacking their debt, they want to prioritize it, the active debt first. Should you deal with the collection accounts or should you deal with the debt? What I mean by that, well, Cynthia, I got my refund and I have this debt that I need to pay down and I need the collections that I need to pay. Which one do? Because we talking about debt, but it's still two different types. Well, the collection accounts are hurting your credit, but so are those high balances. But the high balances is destroying your credit more. So what you do is you attack the balances, the credit that is active, that's being reported every month. Okay. That's what you want to attack because that's doing the most damage. Collection agency, you'll get to. You're going to get to them, but try to pay some of those balances down first. And then you can begin to work with the collection agencies on getting a settlement. Okay. And working it that way. All right. Okay. So we talked about that. If you have any questions, you can always, I'll give you all of my contact information at the end. But I'm keeping track of the time here. But so, what is the next thing that we want to tackle with your? We want to make use of your tax refund checks. Well, you want to be able to create or stack up a life happens fund. Another name for an emergency fund. But life happens. Life happens. You need to be able to go and pull out of your account for a life happens or uh, your a backup bank. A peace of mind account. Knowing that you have something to fall back on. You should be funding that account. You should be funding that account. Do not put it in a regular savings account. Put it in a money market account where you can get a little bit higher interest rate than your savings account. So I would definitely recommend that you do that and don't touch it. Don't touch it. God forbid. Listen, there's so much things going on now with the new president in office, and he's cutting out the different programs, or I don't know if he's cutting out because that's the way it looks. But he may be revamping them. I don't. Nobody knows from the looks now. It doesn't look like he's revamping, but he may be revamping. And the one thing uh, that he got rid of, which was like, I don't know, they said that they're trying to figure out where the money is going, but the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that was that particular organization that the government created to help consumers like you and I deal with the tactics and the illegal practices that we encounter dealing with credit card companies, banks, you know, The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was my friend because I used them for everything. You understand? So for him to attack that, I'm like, okay, it kind of removes the umbrella now. So I'm just waiting to see how they're going to how they're going to replace that, or how they're going to fix it, or how they're going to put something in place for it, because the consumers need an advocate. And I'm telling you, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, listen, I was doing damage helping my clients out with that. So let's just stay tuned on that one and see what's going to happen. But you stack up, you want to be able to put in your Life Happens fund. Because right now, y'all listen, everybody needs a Life Happens fund, especially now because you don't know what's going on. With all these programs being cut, food banks, y'all know that I'm a pastor. We have the food bank that listen, these food bank lines is doing major, it's helping these families. Lines be around the corner. It's not only our food bank, you for food banks all over the place that are they're making a difference in the lives of the people. One of our members at the church, she said, Cynthia, they go around from food. I know this is a sidebar, y'all, but it's still making sense with money. We're talking about expenses, which has a lot to do with your money and how you spend it. But anyway, what most people are doing, she was telling me, is that they go from food line to food line, and that's how they get their groceries. This is how they get their groceries. So all of these things make a big difference in the lives of how people are eating. You understand? They're making sense with their money. If I can go over here and get some milk and eggs at $9, that's going to save me from taking money out of my budget. And I want to say this. A lot of people don't really like the word budget, but I can guarantee you that Facebook has a budget. I can guarantee you that Apple has a budget. I can guarantee you that banks have budgets, because budgets tell your money where to go. You need to have a plan for it. If not, it'll just do what it wanted to do on its own. So let me get back to Life Happens. You want to be able to put something away in a Life Happens fund and leave it. Just leave it. The last thing I want to talk about is how to invest for your future. Now, there may be something that you wanted to do. I don't know if you want to start your own business, invest in a side hustle, or be strategic with your income tax. Don't just get the money and start spending and, buy a new car, going on vacation, I need to treat myself. No, you need to get your financial house in order. Now, it's okay to buy your car if you're not drowning in debt, though. If your financial portfolio permits, like if it can stand a new car, if it can stand uh, um, a car payment without you going into a depression or recession. Can your financial portfolio stand that? Can it withstand that new car, or that vacation, or treating yourself? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. You really want to do the right thing. Get your financial house in order. Okay? Now, if you are interested in, more information, you can shoot me an email. Someone from my staff will get back to you. support@makesensewithyourmoney.com. You may have questions. You may want to do a consultation. Makesensewithyourmoney.com. Or you can visit our website, which I am going to show you. You can visit the website, okay, and take a look around. We have courses. A lot of you don't really like to, that's the word. You say, no, I want to pay somebody to do that for me. We have a course now where for $25 a month, we're showing you how to learn how to do your own credit, learn what to do, what not to do. If you need to pay a collection account, you instead of you making an error, or maybe you not want to pay me, because if you come to us, yes, we're going to charge you. But we also have a course that will show you how to do that. And it's not that much. But what I'm saying to you, you have options available. Now, I know that I got a phone call recently. I'm always saying I got a phone because people are always calling me. And he said, I've been doing this. I've been working on this for 2 years. And I've been getting this off of Instagram and this off of YouTube and this off Facebook. And I'm trying to get my credit working because he's buying a house. And he said, it just wasn't working for me. I wasn't able to get the scores up. I just couldn't get them up, and I couldn't get the bankruptcy off, and I couldn't do this because I was listening to this one and listening to that one because you got too much going on. I know y'all want to cut corners and you want to take a piece from here and a piece from there. Listen, that's straight disorder. Go ahead and get the solution. Okay, get the solution, pay for it, and get it over with, and stop wasting time. Now, I've been in the business for over 20 years. Okay. You can vet me. You go over to the website, you scroll down, there's a section that's called testimonials. Okay. I can easily be vetted. Go to my website. My experience speaks for me. Okay. That part. Now, so we have courses that will help you. You want to fix your credit. You want to start your business credit. All of that stuff. We have courses that'll do that. Head on over to www.makesensewithyourmoney.com. Make sense. CENTS withyourmoney.com. And I know a lot of you may not want to call, you're like, well, I don't really want to call. And it's fine, but you can shoot an email. You may have questions. Support@makesensewithyourmoney.com. If you want to call, the telephone number, look, listen, let me give you the telephone number. Okay. It's 800, all right, 339-4127. I'll be happy to sit with you. A lot of people are, you're getting your money, but you're not making strategic decisions with it. And this is a new year where I invite you to look at yourself as a business. I always tell you that. And as a business, you need to evaluate your financial portfolio in quarters, January to March, March to just like companies do. And how do you progress going forward? How do you progress? Okay. So I want to, what was I doing? Was I sharing my screen? I want to share my screen with you. Okay. We're going to go to the website. So this is the website, Make Sense with Your Money. Okay. You can get a consultation. You click that button. You can do that. Either you can call, right? We have the Credit Hero course, right? You can go from a credit zero to a superhero at your own pace. This is, if you missed some of our radio shows, you can click this button right here. It'll take you there. This is our university. You can click this button. It'll tell you all of the courses that we have, and then wait a minute here. Let me go. This is the YouTube channel, Make Sense with Your Money on YouTube. And these are our testimonials. All of our clients, I've worked with Department of Education, Bronx Expanded Chamber, all of the testimonials are here. Because when you do business with people, you want to, of course, y'all want to know what they're saying. So all of that is there for you to take a look at. All right. Okay. So anyway, back to the lesson at hand. Head on over to www.makesensewithyourmoney.com and take a look on your own. That was just a quick run. But whatever you do, make sure that in this season, because we're all striving to be better, we want to make our financial portfolios better. We want to make them bigger. We want to put things in order. You understand? Right, exactly. So 800-339-4127. If you are, if you need some help, okay? But remember, make your tax returns work for you this season. Make sure they work for you. Make sure that you put your money to use to work for you. That is going to be the end of our show today. Thank you for those of you who tuned in. And we are actually on all the social media channels: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. And stay tuned. We have some more shows coming up. We're going to be revisiting um, the healthcare space. You know, there's so much going on with that whole topic, and that, see, that's all part of your financial portfolio. And because it is, we're going to address those topics in terms of your healthcare coverage. When you go to the hospital, there's certain things that you should know about the nursing home. All of that we're going to have our upcoming shows. So make sure you stay tuned. But for now, I'm Cynthia Hurley, and I'm so glad we had this time together. Until next week, make sure that you have a blessed and a prosperous week, day, month. Make sure you do it on purpose. Take care.